Right, Warriors, Jimmy V here, and today I wanted to talk with you a little bit about getting pre-qualified for a VA home loan, in particular if you are currently credit challenged. More or less how to really position yourself as an active duty service member or a veteran to be able to utilize your VA home loan benefit when the time comes that your credit scores meet the minimum credit score requirements for a VA loan. This is important information. I think that's going to help you become a homeowner, number one, and number two, increase your wealth through the acquisition of real estate utilizing your VA home loan benefit. Good to go? So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, but before we do, we got some business to take care of. Number one, do me a favor, if you find that this information was of value and I earned it, will you consider showing your love by clicking like on this video? It really supports the channel, helps us out. Number two, if you want to learn more about VA home loan benefits, consider subscribing to the channel to learn more about how our VA home loan benefit works, so that way you're well educated when the time comes that you're ready to purchase a home. And number three, do me a favor, comment down below with your questions, and I personally, yes, me, Jimmy Vercellino, will make sure that they get answered for you quickly and efficiently. Roger that? All right, so let's get this party started. You want to purchase a home, but you think that your credit scores are not where they need to be in order to qualify for the VA home loan. So let me kind of break this down for you a little bit because I think it's important. Number one, I want you to know, and this might surprise you, that the VA does not actually have a minimum credit score requirement. Did you know that? If you go through the VA Lender's Handbook, there's nothing in the handbook that actually talks about a required credit score that you, as the veteran, need to have, right? But Jimmy, I heard from a mortgage lender that I had to have a 640 or a 660. Let me tell you why that is, okay? So think about it like this, veterans. If I'm lending you, the veteran, Jimmy Vercellino is lending you, the veteran, the money. Well, it's my money and I get to put the terms on that loan. You with me on that? The VA, they're over here and they're kind of like a silent investor on the loan. And they say, hey, Jimmy. I say, yes, VA. They say, you know that loan that you just made to the veteran that's watching this channel right now? I say, yeah. They say, if in the event that that veteran were to foreclose on that loan for any reason, we'll cut you a check for 25% of the balance. Okay, sounds good. But at the end of the day, it's still my money that I'm lending out. You with me on that? And I get to put the terms on top of that loan. In the business, we call those lender overlays. Essentially, what you need to know as a veteran that's looking to get pre-qualified for your VA loan and you're currently working on your credit, different lenders have different credit score requirements. So you could talk to 3 different lenders throughout the nation and all 3 of them could have different credit score requirements. Let's say that a veteran has a 620 credit score. You talk to the first lender and they say, I'm sorry, we can't help you, right? I'm sorry, why not? Well, because you don't have a 660 credit score. Darn. All right, now you go to lender number 2. You say my credit score is 620. They say, I'm sorry, we require a 640. Darn, okay. Now, lender 3. Hey, Mr. Lender 3, I've got a credit score of 620. Can you help me out? Lender 3 says, yes, I can. You look at them and you go, come here, you. The reality is that just because one mortgage lender says that you can't get pre-qualified with them doesn't mean that you can't get a VA loan somewhere else. You with me on that? So second opinions on one of the largest financial transactions of one's life is never a bad idea, right? Shake your head up and down if you're with me on that. Never a bad idea and can end up saving you a lot of money on your VA loan. But let me give you my general rule of thumb that I share with all of my veterans that contact me from this channel. Always going to want to shoot for a minimum credit score. And this isn't gospel, but it's just my general recommendation. You're always going to want to shoot for a minimum credit score of at least, you ready for this? 620, all right? Now, Jimmy, why 620? I heard there's lenders out there that are doing VA loans for 580. And yes, there are some lenders across the nation that state they will originate a VA loan for 580, for example. But just because they say that doesn't necessarily mean that A, you would qualify for it, and B, you would want to utilize that loan. For example, if you're at a 620, that does 2 things. Number one, you get more favorable financing terms. I've never met a veteran that wants to pay for more in interest than they need to. And secondly, it increases the overall probability and likelihood that you will get pre-qualified and approved for your VA loan. You with me on that? So here's what I'm saying. When we take your loan application, we run it through an automated underwriting loan system. It's called DU, Desktop Underwriter, or LP, Loan Prospector, okay? And that system will tell us whether or not this is an approvable loan. And the higher the credit score, one more time, the more the likelihood is that you'll get approved for that loan. And secondly, you'll get more competitive financing terms. So of course we want you to have a better credit score so that way you can save money on your VA home loan benefit. So now we've talked a little bit about how the VA works. Regard to credit scores, we talked about the credit scores that we ideally want you to have so you can qualify for the VA loan. We've talked a little bit about getting a second opinion. If a lender says no, you may want to find somebody else who might be able to do your credit score slightly lower. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is getting your credit scores up to a range where they need to be in order to qualify. Okay, so there's three things. Do me a favor, say three things. There you go. All right, so three things. Number one, you want to obviously continue to pay your bills on time, right? And there's a lot, by the way, of really good channels across YouTube that can talk about credit optimization. I'm gonna give you three basic, simple steps that I share with my veterans to kind of heal their credit report. Continuing to pay your bills on time. What do I mean when I say heal your credit report? You want to kind of nurse your credit report back to health, and these simple steps that I'm sharing with you once again will allow you to do that. So continue paying your bills on time. Number two, make sure that if you have any existing liabilities that are currently delinquent, get them paid. In the Marine Corps, we'd say stop the bleeding, right? Once you stop the bleeding, you can then start the healing. So pay your bills on time, let that time heal your credit report, which is essentially the third thing here. Time, getting all of your liabilities caught up. And then the last thing is I think probably the most important is credit utilization. If you do have a credit card, make sure that you're bringing down the balances on those credit cards down to approximately a 30% balance utilization ratio or lower. Why is this important? Because when the balance on your credit cards are increased, right, that looks like you are kind of not monitoring your credit from the standpoint of you have an overutilization on your credit cards. You're not monitoring them wisely, perhaps, okay? So getting that balance down shows that you have control over those credit cards, and lastly, increases your credit score as a direct result. Have you ever heard the terminology, time heals all wounds? Okay, I've heard that before. Well, guess what? Time heals your credit report, and if you continue to do those daily disciplines with your credit report, you will see those credit scores rise, and it will become a matter of when, not if, you become a homeowner. Good to go? So what I want you to know is that I'm here to be a resource for you as you're on this journey towards home ownership, utilizing your VA home loan benefit. Remember that credit score is just one small piece of all of this. You still have to get pre-qualified for the VA loan. The mortgage lender is going to check your W-2s, your tax returns, your bank statements, your pay stubs to ensure that you are pre-qualified for the loan. Once you're pre-qualified for the loan, guess what? Now it's time to get out there and have some fun and get out there and utilize your VA home loan benefit and begin to build and create wealth through the acquisition of real estate. So I hope that you found that this information was of value. My name is Jimmy Vercellino. For more questions, well, I have answers. Feel free to comment down below with your questions, and I personally will make sure that they get answered for you. We'll talk to you soon.